Hi, I'm Scruffy. I am making this list today because I realize I play a lot of games on my Switch and figured that you guys might like some info on like some spooky horror games, especially because right now it is the spooky season. And right now this is my cat, so hit the subscribe button. Oh, big stretch. Ah. A lot of these games are meant for a adult audience. Even though the Nintendo Switch is more like a family-oriented kind of gaming system, it is also going to be a game list of horror games. So when you think horror, you usually think like Mike Myers, like Halloween, the movie, and just like anything that is usually like gut-wrenching in a horror. You were warned, and I am not responsible for what happens beyond this video. So first thing on the list is going to be Little Nightmares 1, 2, and The Maw. So this is actually part of the Little Nightmares bundle on the Switch. Currently it is on sale, and it is around 10 gigabytes. So if you have a decent memory card, then go for it. I know I had a lot of fun with it. It has this Tim Burton kind of vibe, and Six, the main player character in the first game, has like a yellow outfit, which kind of reminds me a lot of Coraline, which makes me just like go back and rewatch that movie every time I play it. So another one that's going to be on the list is going to be Blasphemous. So if you are a fan of like old school Castlevania games like Symphony of the Night, this is going to be right up your alley. This is also a pixel art game as well. Cutscenes in it are done extremely well. The soundtrack is immaculate, the voice acting, great, and it all just ties together. There was a recent update for the game to where you have a new quest line which leads out to another new ending to the game as well. As I mentioned before, this kind of ties back to what I said earlier. This is going to be a very gory and gothically horror themed game. It's not like Symphony of the Night where it's like you slash an enemy that just disappears off screen or it just fades out. No, it goes out in like a blaze of glory where like there are limbs flying off, blood's everywhere, gore is coming off of the creatures off of your character when you die. But yeah, if Metroidvanias are kind of your thing and you're also into like Dark Souls, this is definitely up your alley. Another pixel art horror game is going to be Viviette. So the way that I can best describe this is kind of like a horror Stardew as far as like the art style and the engine of the game, especially with how everything feels and how it flows, but you are running from a possessed person while you are trying to figure out like what's going on. The puzzles are very reminiscent of like original like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. This is definitely one of those games where it's like I play my Switch in handheld mode for and just like lay in bed at night and just like kind of like play while I'm just like awake because of insomnia. Another one is going to be Morbid, the 7 Acolytes. This one's actually under a gigabyte, and also it feels like Zelda the Minish Cap meets Bloodborne. Again, another pixel art horror game. It's very gory, the combat is very smooth. Loving the soundtrack. I still need to play more of it. I played like maybe the first 5-10 minutes of it. Still definitely worth your money. If you're into older horror games like, again, original OG like Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, or even like the Resident Evil 1 remaster, where you have kind of like these fixed angles and everything, where it's like the camera's like down the hallway and then you have to like walk towards it or away from it. Tormented Souls does have that vibe of like just being locked and isolated to your surroundings and what you do. It also kind of has a Silent Hill sort of vibe. If you're into kind of like the original Medieval game, back on like PS1, or even if like you've been playing the remaster of Medieval on PS4, which I have, it's been amazing, then definitely check out Pumpkin Jack. It's one of those games where it's like horror and Halloween themed throughout the entire thing. It feels very Tim Burton-ish in a way. And also a little bit of Billy and Mandy thrown in there because of the comedy aspect of everything. I keep going back to this game because it kind of like brings back like a nostalgic kind of vibe from when I was a kid and just like sitting down watching Billy and Mandy, and then just afterwards I would play Medieval on my PS1. Probably one of the better horror games on the Switch, and I mean this with all like conviction to it. I think the best horror game out of the series so far on the Switch has got to be Resident Evil Revelations 2, because of the fact that Revelations 2, in a time when Resident Evil was going from horror to action, I feel like this kind of balanced things out and was like a breath of fresh air for the people like me that like just strictly horror games. And this game brings back to being a mostly horror themed game. But the good thing is, for the main campaign for the game, a lot of it you can play with a friend, or you can just do it by yourself with the AI. I personally say get a friend because the AI could use some work. It does come in with the 2 DLC side stories where you can play as both Moira and Natalia, but those are only in single player. I will say that's going to be like the largest game as far as like memory size that's going to take up on the list. It's about 24 gigabytes. I'm not sure if that's with or without any updates added to the game as well. Getting to one of the best games on the list has got to be Devil May Cry 3, because it's this perfect blend of horror and action where you take place as this half demon, half human hybrid named Dante. Or if you beat the game, then his brother Virgil. Devil May Cry is definitely one of those series where it takes up a lot of time, effort, and also it's just a lot of replay value to it as well. Especially when you unlock the Bloody Palace mode, you can fight a lot of bosses, you can just like go through and just go full ham on it. I think I beat the game within like, I want to say 2 or 3 days of just like streaming it over on Twitch. But still, it's one of those games where it's like, because of it being a remaster of the original game, I was able to switch my weapons like on the fly. So if I wanted to go from like handguns to shotgun, I could do it as easily as pushing a button. Or if I want to go from like regular sword to like dual blades, or to like the nunchucks, or to like the gauntlets, then I can just easily on the fly just like change it mid-boss fight. I don't have to like pause the screen. I don't have to like worry about anything else that's going on. I can just either pause the game and just do it manually, or I can just hit it by a single like hotkey button. Those were the games that we were looking at as far as like good spooky season kind of games that are going to be like games that you want to play, like because it's like the spooky season, it's like that time of year, or if like it's sometime after Halloween and then you're just like, I'm in a horror kind of mood, then yeah, go for it. Also, again, please subscribe. We're gonna be doing more stuff here soon. I'm not sure when exactly, but yeah, peace out.